Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into something truly massive. We're unpacking a monumental study published in July of 2026, and I gotta tell you, this isn't just another dry data set, it is literally a map of human survival. We're tracking an incredible lifespan revolution that took place across Asia over 3 decades, right up until the sudden, massive disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're gonna look at exactly where global health has been and where it is abruptly pivoting right now.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. It's a pretty thrilling, investigative journey through the data. Today, we'll start with a quick overview of Asian lifespans. Then we'll track the regional gains over a 33-year period. After that, we'll analyze the specific diseases driving those incredible changes. And finally, we have to confront the COVID-19 pandemic shock.
Section 1. Overview of Asian lifespans. Before we get into the shifts, we really need to understand the colossal baseline scale of this region.
To ground our analysis, we have to talk about life expectancy itself. It is for sure a key indicator of population health and a vital guide for health policy. But more than that, it's basically the ultimate scorecard for human progress. It takes all these incredibly complex social, economic, and medical variables and distills them down into one single number that tells us, how well our systems are actually keeping people alive. And when we talk about this specific scorecard in Asia, we're looking at sheer, unimaginable scale. Asia represents roughly 60% of the entire global population. That means we aren't just looking at a regional niche here. Tracking these lifespan trends means we are literally tracking the health of the vast majority of humanity across vastly different economies and climates.
So, the data we're decoding today comes from a highly prestigious, peer-reviewed publication in the journal Nature published in July 2026. This is a comprehensive analysis based on the Global Burden of Disease Study 2023, and it meticulously tracks life expectancy, cause-specific mortality, and risk factors across 34 Asian countries and territories. This is top-tier scientific reporting that finally broadens the focus way beyond just Western or high-income settings.
And I have to pause for a second because this always makes me smile. Just look at this staggering wall of text listing the authors. I mean, wow. It really proves that a study of this magnitude isn't just one or two people sitting in a lab somewhere. The GBD 2023 Asia Life Expectancy Collaborators represents a massive, monumental global collaboration of scientists, researchers, and public health experts.
Section 2, Tracking the Regional Gains. Let's move to and see how this builds as we look at the incredible upward trends documented over 3 decades. The timeline of this study maps out a really pivotal 33-year window. We start our tracking back in 1990. From there, we trace a long, genuinely remarkable era of progress all the way up to 2019. That distinct pre-pandemic era is then followed by our final period stretching from 2019 to 2023, which obviously captures the catastrophic disruption of the global pandemic.
But let's look at the baseline finding first, because it is incredibly optimistic. Between 1990 and 2023, despite vast differences in infrastructure and wealth, life expectancy increased in all 34 Asian countries and territories studied. Every single one saw their overall numbers go up during this overarching window. That's a huge win for public health.
But the speed of those gains? Well, that wasn't identical across the board. The data shows this fascinating contrast. The largest annual gains were actually observed in South Asia, while the smallest gains were seen in high-income Asia-Pacific countries. So what does this all mean? Why would the highest income regions grow the slowest, while South Asia surged ahead?
Section 3. Diseases driving the change. Let's shift gears and look at the epic medical battles happening on the ground.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how distinct regions achieve their lifespan gains by defeating completely different primary antagonists. In Central and East Asia, as well as the high-income regions, the major victory was driven by reducing cardiovascular disease mortality. They were essentially fine-tuning care for chronic conditions. Meanwhile, that massive surge in life expectancy in South and Southeast Asia, that was primarily due to defeating infectious threats. We're talking sweeping declines in diarrheal diseases and tuberculosis.
Section 4. The COVID-19 Pandemic Shock. And this is where we have to hit the grim reality of the year 2019.
So the crucial point is this, -2 years. The researchers found that in just the very first year of the COVID-19 pandemic alone, life expectancy dropped by nearly 2 full years across several Asian regions. Decades of slow, incredibly hard-fought progress against tuberculosis and cardiovascular disease were effectively wiped out almost overnight.
Between 2019 and 2023, That reliable, steady, upward trajectory of Asian public health were shattered in a way it hadn't been in over a generation. This widespread decline wasn't just a tiny blip on the radar. It was an abrupt, devastating disruption to the demographic trends we had really come to rely on.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the researchers are currently tracking the pandemic's complex ripple effects. By looking at the socio-demographic index, which essentially measures how wealth and development factored into pandemic resilience, they're mapping out the deeper fallout of the virus. They want to know exactly who was hit hardest, and fundamentally, why.
Which brings us to the ultimate question moving forward. As we stand in the wake of that massive 2019 to 2023 shock, will this region, representing 60% of humanity, remember, simply resume its upward trajectory? Or has the pandemic permanently altered the demographic and socioeconomic links to life expectancy? It's a profound question that researchers will be tracking for years to come, and I highly encourage you to keep your eyes on this evolving data. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.